On January 19, 2001, El Chapo vanished from a maximum security prison, hidden inside a laundry cart. Past guards he had paid $2.5 million to look the other way. 14 years later, he did it again. This time through a mile-long tunnel with a motorcycle on rails built right beneath his shower floor, 2 impossible breakouts, and a system rotten enough to let it happen twice. Joaquín Guzmán's journey from the hills of Sinaloa to the heart of Mexico's prison system reads like fiction, but every step is written in court records and arrest logs. Born in 1957, he started as a teenage courier, running marijuana for the Guadalajara cartel. By the late 1980s, Guzmán was orchestrating cocaine shipments that stretched from the mountains of western Mexico to Los Angeles and Chicago. The Sinaloa Cartel, under his direction, grew into a multinational enterprise, moving billions in narcotics and laundering profits through a web of shell companies and corrupt officials. On June 10, 1993, Guatemalan police cornered Guzmán after a brief firefight. Mexican authorities flew him back across the border, and within a month, he was processed into Puente Grande, the country's newest maximum security prison, built to hold men exactly like him. The official transfer logs mark his arrival on July 7, 1993. Yet for all the concrete and steel, Puente Grande quickly became Guzmán's domain. Former guards would later testify about the hush money envelopes, the steak dinners, and the parade of visitors who arrived without proper paperwork. Cell phones, drugs, even prostitutes, everything had a price, and the Sinaloa Cartel paid in cash. Inside those walls, Guzmán wielded more influence than most officials on the outside. He ran trafficking operations by phone, managed disputes among rival inmates, and bought loyalty from guards up and down the chain of command. The prison's electronic door system was routinely bypassed by a simple remote held by a trusted night supervisor. Inmates called it the hotel, but in late 2000, a Supreme Court ruling threatened to end the party. Extradition to the United States loomed, and with it the loss of everything Guzmán had built. As pressure mounted, he began to move millions in bribes, weaving a safety net of corrupt staff and local police. The world believed he was contained. Inside Puente Grande, the real game was just beginning. January 19, 2001. The clock nears 4:30 in the morning inside Puente Grande. Night shift guards finish their head count. Eyes heavy, routines unbroken. In the dim corridor, Francisco Camberos Rivera receives a call, just a few coded words, enough to set the plan in motion. He approaches Block A, unlocks the cell door, and Joaquín Guzmán, already waiting, slips into a reinforced laundry cart stationed outside. The corridor is silent except for the low squeak of wheels. The cart rolls past the first checkpoint. A guard nods, distracted by paperwork. At the second, a motion sensor is quietly disabled. Maintenance override logged. Nothing out of order on paper. No alarms, no questions. The cart keeps moving, pushed by hands that know exactly where to pause and when to keep rolling. At the service exit, a second guard, Ramirez, opens the door. His hand trembles, but he does not look inside the cart. Outside, the air is cold and still. Guzmán climbs out, sprints across a patch of open ground, 250 meters to a waiting vehicle parked in the shadows. The car's black box later records its departure at 4:52 in the morning, the start of a 24-hour head start. Inside, the guards discover the empty cart minutes later. An alarm rings out, but it is already too late. By the time federal police arrive, Guzmán is gone, vanished into the countryside, leaving behind only silence and a trail of falsified logs. The world wakes to find Mexico's most wanted man has disappeared without a trace. The next escape would require something far more ambitious. Months before Guzmán vanished from Altiplano, a quiet network of front companies began placing large orders for construction supplies, cement, rebar, and thousands of meters of PVC pipe. The invoices looked routine at first glance, but a forensic accountant later traced the billing addresses to empty lots and shell firms, all registered to fake names. The quantities raised eyebrows: over 1,500 kilograms of cement, 3 tons of steel, and enough plastic piping to run beneath a city block. None of it matched any local construction permits. On May 15, 2015, a satellite image captured a subtle change near the northwest fence of the prison. A patch of soil, usually undisturbed, showed a faint discoloration, a shift that analysts would only recognize after the escape. At the time, the image was just another frame in a commercial archive, overlooked by security agencies focused on the prison's walls, not what lay beneath them. Inside Altiplano, maintenance logs recorded a string of technical issues. Early July brought a scheduled firmware upgrade that took the key CCTV camera offline for nearly 3 hours, right above the tunnel's endpoint. The blackout was signed off by a mid-level technician, whose name would later vanish from payroll records. Guards on the night shift noted nothing unusual, but the system's blind spot lined up perfectly with the final phase of excavation. No one questioned why a prison built to be escape-proof had so many unmonitored corners. The paper trail wound through layers of bureaucracy, each signature distancing the real planners from the evidence. The tunnel specs themselves remained hidden, but the clues had already started to surface, if anyone had been looking in the right place. Beneath the concrete floor of cell AC-12, a square hatch, just wide enough for a man to slip through, waited in silence. The opening measured 50 by 50 centimeters, cut with surgical precision into the shower stall. When Guzmán crouched and lifted the tile, he dropped into a world that defied every notion of prison security. The tunnel stretched 1.5 kilometers, running under fields and fences, its path mapped with laser instruments and GPS. It was no crude crawl space. Walls were reinforced with concrete and steel ribs, spaced every 2 meters. Along the ceiling, a grid of PVC pipes fed fresh air through battery-powered fans, keeping the passage cool and breathable. LED strips lit the way, their glow reflecting off damp earth. At the heart of the tunnel, a narrow-gauge rail carried a custom-built motorcycle, its frame welded to a platform, engine muffled, wheels locked to the track. The bike was more than a getaway vehicle. It hauled men, tools, and 120 cubic meters of excavated soil, all without a sound above ground, undetected. Guzmán swung his legs over the seat, gripped the throttle, and vanished into the darkness. The engine's low hum echoed through the shaft, a sound masked by the prison's own machinery. In minutes, he covered the entire distance, faster than any guard could cross the yard above. At the far end, the tunnel angled upward, ending beneath a half-built house. A final steel ladder led to a plywood trap door, flush with the floor. Guzmán climbed, pushed open the hatch, and emerged into the night air. The tunnel's mouth snapped shut behind him, leaving nothing but the faint scent of gasoline and the echo of a plan executed with impossible precision. The plywood hatch locks shut behind Guzmán. Above ground, the night is silent except for a faint vibration under the dirt. At 2:21 a.m., a coded text pings across the cell network, just 5 digits and a single word: Listo. The logistics coordinator, working from a safe house miles away, sends the signal to a driver waiting in a white Chevrolet Silverado, license plate AB1234. The message means one thing: the tunnel is open and the package is coming up. The Silverado idles with its headlights off, tucked behind the shell of an unfinished farmhouse. Its driver, a cartel loyalist with no criminal record, receives the text and replies with a single tap. He has been rehearsing this moment for weeks, running dry runs on back roads, memorizing the route out of Almoloya. The phone he is using will be thrown into a river before sunrise. At 2:26 a.m., the trapdoor lifts. Guzmán climbs out, covered in dust, and is hustled into the back of the truck by 2 men in work clothes. They do not speak. The doors close, and the Silverado pulls away, merging onto a dirt road that runs parallel to the main highway. GPS data later shows the vehicle accelerating north, bypassing every checkpoint, invisible to the patrols still circling the prison perimeter. Inside Altiplano, the alarm is slow to sound. Surveillance staff, distracted by a camera reboot, do not notice the missing inmate until nearly 90 minutes later. By then, the truck's license plate has already been captured on a grainy roadside camera more than 40 kilometers away. Guzmán is gone, carried out of the shadows by a logistics chain so tight, Not a single call or radio transmission breaks the silence. For the second time, the world is left staring at an empty cell and a vanishing trail. Maximum security is an illusion when corruption and ingenuity collide. Today, cartel architects study every weakness, while prisons race to outpace them. The world watches, knowing escape isn't just a story, it's a question of who holds the blueprint. What price do we pay when walls are never truly secure?